Jewel Venture. Chapter 1A, The Daily Grind. The large important building disappears as we leave the light-up beautiful city of Paris and pass the vast European lands and cross the great countryside of the west and east, past the provinces of China and over the Pacific Sea, back to the thriving and beauty island country of Taiwan. Pacific guitar, Chinese pop music, playing, travel through busy city of old and new Taipei, past the golden Buddha statue in the biggest Buddhist temple in Taiwan, all the way through the Pengchu market and back to Hengchuan, the world aging now, as 11 years seem to fly by. Now passing through the green hills woody areas of the Pingtung County, in southern small-town Taiwan, going through the West Gate Fort of Hengchuan, made of ancient moldy reddish brick stone surrounding the entire small-town areas, and then woodland, and farmland divided into parts that form the large township of Hengchuan, Pingtung County, South Taiwan. The buildings are mostly in old pale gray, or white. The buildings seem aged and from a different time, each having signs more colorful and different to attract visitors, all being completely open shops you could just walk into and buy. Though, at a rare indoor shop, a tall high schooler tries to finish his plate of soupy dumplings and rushes back on his motorcycle, and the rest of his street gang do the same, not even paying the check for the small shop owner lady, riding off on their colorful motorcycles down the slim streets of Hengchuan. Now leaving town as the motorcycle gang pass laughing at their crime, passing by Adam's home, now bigger and newer looking, a vibrant painted log cabin home of red and white. In the upper second-floor window, there's then 10-year-old Xiao-lan's room, clean with covered with action figure robots, and posters of K-pop singers, including BTS, and more local Chinese singers, plus a giant shirtless old man with English lettering. Fortis, the superhuman. France's #1 superhero. On his desk, an old bootleg Samsung, and a busted-up laptop that hadn't been cleaned since. He got it for his 10th birthday. He is sleeping now, wearing his favorite superhero, Forest Knight, pajamas under his polka-dot blue and red blanket, stuck in a half-good and half-horrifying nightmare. Xiao-lan's eyes open and close constantly as 2 doctors seemingly do surgery on his body. He didn't feel anything happening, but then he can hear a slightly high but darkly calm male voice talking to other men on the progress of the operation in the distance, and 2 shadowy figures being pulled into another room, a younger girl forcibly taken to a round room while she screamed for her parents. Then before Xiao-lan could see where the daughter was taken, red starting to cover his eyes, the calm chilling. Voice became deafeningly loud, but as soon as the dream came he woke up. A weird dream, he thought, being in space and then seemingly being operated on. It was morning, and he can smell of steam from boiling water and water rice, with eggs being cooked. It was his father, Dart Adam. He is known and least at the house as the best scrambled eggs cook in all the land. The small gray rabbit with his short, straight, and overly combed black hair and big eyes quickly takes off his pajama and puts on his school clothes, which are old jeans and a long white dress shirt, then following the smell to downstairs and into the Chinese wood cabin kitchen. There are some pictured symbols of yin and yang across the room, and the jade statues of the 12 lucky animals of the Chinese zodiac on a small fireplace near the stairs, serving as Adam's luck charms. His father wearing a more Amish look with pull-up pants and a dark blue button shirt. However, instead of his old fisher hat when he was a bum, he wears his farmer and gardener straw hat, growing a brown fully beard. He looks to Xiao-lan, with almost an open mouth and childish glee in his eyes, as he prepares the oolong herbs he got from his farmer friend in the mountains. Xiao, now at the last step of the stairway, looks to him and exclaims, "Ni hao, Dad." "Good morning to you too, Xiao-lan. I made a good batch of eggs to get you stuffed up before heading off to school. You know you can just make some rice. The egg on is just yucky." "Oh, come on, you know you like it." "Yeah, I do," Xiao-lan said quietly. While Adam is going off to get the boiling brown oolong tea on the stove, the adopted son, freely showing his appearance, looks to see if Adam left the room and takes out his secret sriracha ketchup bottle that he got from one of his friends yesterday and puts a heck-ton on his egg. Adam returns and sighs as he goes over the neatly decorated wood table where Xiao-lan is sitting, depictions of flowers with snake-like dragons flying around them, pouring the mountain oolong tea from a Chinese clay teapot into a mini china teacup. He taking a firm seat on his favorite chair on the other side of the table, him fitting nicely on it, feet on the floor, while Xiao-lan's tiny legs are hanging from the chair, readily sitting waiting for the moment to eat, though having to wait for Adam to finally pouring his cup and getting his meal ready, holding the bottom of the cup with both of his hands like a monk, and drinking the warm tangy tea. You know, I had a really weird dream. Tell me more. Adam getting up with his meal and moving his chair to the other side of the table, to sit in front of the young spry hair with ears far over his head curving down, the bowl hitting the wood table. With a small chatter, then putting his elbows on the table and putting his head on his hands. The bluish bunny boy looking at him in a way one would respond to a question by a prying 40s to 60s counselor. I was in space at first, on a gloomy barren gray moon, something that looked like from the future in that really old Terminator movie, but it was all purple and dark metal, and there are people like me who were in chains. The first one? Did you watch that with your friends? Timmy's mom had it. Sounds interesting, go on. And then I saw a baby version of myself being carried away by a blonde lady across the sea to here, then you finding me and singing your lullaby. Which kind of sucks, since I didn't have a cool ending to that dream. Like snow falling, snowflakes like diamonds falling on me as I carried a princess. In my arms dash, Adam Dart chuckles to himself hearing this. What? Adam still chuckling, leaning back in his chair and taking a sip of his tea, dramatically putting it down, gasping with thirst now relieved. I remember you as a baby, the lake gifting you to me. You remember your favorite lullaby, huh? Because you mentioned it, I feel like singing dash. No. I'm fine not doing that. I just want to snort. Dash, Xiao-lan nearly spilling his food from his mouth. I just want to eat. Adam scooching his upper body forward, with a cheeky smile on his face. Okay, little sir, but before that, you know what we have to do first. Come closer, son. Putting his strong working hand on Xiao-lan's shoulder with a gentle movement, but a strong fatherly grasp, and he begins his morning pray. Adam breathing in and out, his face now completely stoic, no silliness. I thank the Lord for giving us this wonderful feast and hope to keep having good harvest for the rest of this year and good health. I pray to the Lord and the spirits of my grandfather and grandmother and my mother and father for divine spiritual protection, blessings for me and my son. I pray that my son will get to his school safely and that no dangers will harm his body and soul. I pray that he makes new friends and grows his relationship with his current friends. Now give your prayer, son. Okay. I pray that my dad has a better harvest this year, so I don't eat rotten cabbage again. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses. Adam became quiet for a second and then resumed. Amen. Amen. After that, Xiao-lan sternly flops back onto his seat hard and starts stuffing his face full with ketchup egg rice. Boy, you know how unhealthy that is. Xiao-lan looks up with a bunch of tomato paste on his cheeks, his mouth completely full. Muffled. I like ketchup on my egg. It's the only way I can eat it. You gotta swallow it, son. You are not going to talk with a full mouth in this household. Plus, that much sriracha is going to burn your tongue. Xiao-lan just looks to his adoptive father and looks to his food, shyly responding. Swallows. Yes, Dad. Adam sighed and started to eat his own rice and egg with no absurd amount of ketchup. Then he remembers something, putting down the fork and gets up and heads to the fridge, taking out a glass jar with an English word above Mandarin which meant the same thing. Kraut, slamming the fridge door as he crudely tosses some of the kraut in and mixes it with his rice, mixed to an utter mess. Xiao-lan looks to his adoptive father's meal with most of his vision taken up by his bowl he's chowing down on. Shallowing and burping, he rubs off the food remnants off his mouth with his wrist, looking to his father figure with gleeful curiosity. Dad! Adam looks up from swirling the sauerkraut into his rice and looks up without moving his head. Sigh, I'm right here, boy. You don't need to call me out like that. I was taught in school you only put ketchup on eggs or soy sauce. Why do you always put fermented cabbage? Because I like it. Adam made a snarky, silly face as he said it, reaching out and tapping the side of his fork on Xiao-lan's left knuckle. But why do you get mad at me for putting ketchup on rice? Cabbage is healthy for you, ketchup isn't. Adam looking down at his hands, looking at his aged skin and worn knuckles, turning over and looking at his palms, grasping and putting one of his hands on his wrists, a look of subtle frown on the tip edges of his lips, nearly hidden in the worker-man's almost always calm, friendly and unconflicted face. And it reminds me of my old life. Do you miss being in Hungary? Some of my friends came from Eastern Europe, and they kind of miss it too. Ha, you mean Toff brothers? Haha, those two are great. Laughing louder, they are good. Friends, you should keep them close. Adam dives in to take another bit of his food, putting a big chunk of it into his mouth and chewing, and then swallowing, his eyes closed a little. That didn't answer my question, Dad. Adam seemed to close his arms inward and start chugging the tea he made into his mouth rather than normally sipping it. Then, throwing it in the sink behind him, a break of porcelain heard which startled the boy, but Adam didn't react, used to loud noises. Yeah, I do miss it sometimes. I miss going cloud watching with your grandmom and playing flute in my band. But I came here for a reason, to relax, and plus I have you with me. I can relive my early life with you, son. You are all I need. You are all I need. Wherever you are, here or the North Pole or the bottom one. No matter where. That will be my home. But do you miss Grandma? Adam stops eating, throwing his spoon down and using a napkin to clean his mouth and the back clean side to wipe his forehead, moving and bending his shoulders around to get uncomfortable energy out of his system. Then looking back to Xiao-lan, some conflict on his face. Xiao, Lindart, you should finish your meal and get to school. You are almost running late. The seemingly overly positive kid stopped asking questions there, as he forgot he was going to be late if he stayed there any longer. So he ate the rest of his food quickly like a cartoon character, shallowed, and said his goodbyes. Quickly. He gets his backpack on and opens the front door, making sure his socks are on straight as he ties his shoes, then putting his drab cotton black jacket with light gray sleeves, matching his skin, making him seem invisible in public, hiding and stuffing his ears under his black hoodie. Then once ready, he rushes putting his hands in his jacket's pockets, going into the warm, bright, and cloudless outside of his house. Adam looking on from his chair, looking on with a proud smile, though he looks down to his hand and for a second, a chill suddenly running down his spine. However, he collects himself, savoring his breakfast before going back to water the backyard vegetable garden, sweet potato, cucumber, bok choy, and avocado. Then he would be off to work. Xiao-lan quickly rushing over the creaky wooden planks of the balcony, going past the sign that states the residence of Zhao's home in painted Mandarin. Dart family, Dart Adam. He quickly passes that old rice field, which did not have that delicious smell from his dream, since the wife the old man, Pinyin, never cooked until supper. The old farmer used to go into the small, open dumpling shop near his part-time janitor job for breakfast and lunch, leaving the very edge of the Kenting woodland and entering the small little areas named by their streets, kind of like most suburbs in the United Republic. Xiao-lan did his usual walk along the long, thin Shitan road, passing rice fields and two family shrines, one being a shrine dedicated to a known martial artist his father mentioned, Karo the Crane Gang, Sifu of the Crane Dojo. Adam's personal mixed kung fu and other martial arts teacher, someone who Xiao-lan's guardian looked up to very much. Then passing the tropical trees, mixed with wild midland woodland, he passes a old worn, though still running motorcycle club pub where only old folks go, marking the intersection of Chaodun Road and Shitan Road. A few of them are relaxing and drinking Taiwanese variant of beer, one being too young, so he drinks a Canada Dry, and two older cranky folk playing a old game of mahjong, the one balding with no facial hair clearly won, and the hairy one very obvious upset at the lose. Xiao-lan continued walking down that road to the south, passing by the Lansheng Library, which had his preschooling, kindergarten, and his homeschooling by Adam for 4 years before having to go to the current school he was going to, the one nearer downtown Hengchuan, crossing a few more roads with long stretches of green and old worn-down buildings and rice fields, traveling the quarter of the lake's distance. He gets on Language Road, already 40 minutes into the walk, and against his own father's wishes, going to the bigger and more commercial area of Hengchuan with a few cars and lots of people with motorcycles. The street was filled with busy moms driving their kids to school, and teens getting their first spin on a motorcycle, either to small street shops for clothing, electronics, or food, driving to the bigger cities, less than 2 hours away. Xiao-lan walks past them while jaywalking to get across Nanwan RD, humming, to his school, Nanwan Hengchuan Middle School, meeting his friends at the stepway leading to the dim entrance. An confident grinning boy with frizzy European hair, chubby cheeks, and arms, and his much skinner, almost to the bones brother with combed hair and strange red freckles round his face that Xiao-lan never seen other than on Walt. Some both Taiwanese and ultra-famous Korean celebrities on the walls, some kids put up to advertise their fan clubs, as well as an old poster of famous Chinese songwriter Jono Lili about his song he made with 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈 Desperado, and a poster of Awakening by Sarah Chun. Xiao raises a hand and slaps Timmy's hand, and they hold their young fists together in an arm lock like how they saw Arnold Wurstachon and Carl Weathers from that Prey and Predator 80s movie they got a few years back and watched together at Adam's home when he wasn't home. Then Timmy grabbed and pulled out one of Hooded Bunny Boy's rounded ears from his hoodie and started tugging it. "Hey, Bun Man, how's it going?" Xiao-lan's face goes into complete terror as he looks behind him and around to see anyone looking. Then, seeing no one, sighs with relief and stares daggers at Tim. "Dude, stop it!" Xiao-lan ripping his ears away from Timmy's grasp, quickly shoving it back up his hoodie, quickly, as he hears footsteps about to pass by from his side. "That's not going to be your thing now, right?" "It better not." The hooded, almost emo kid goes through nervous laughter after hearing Timmy nonsense, trying to hide his obvious irritation. "Because I'm going to punch you if you say that again, jerk." Timmy just looks blankly at Xiao-lan and rubs his nose in confusion and itches his neck a bit. "Cool down, Bun Man." The angry, still developing young man winds up and punches his friend in the shoulder and then makes his way into the school. Timmy rushes and trying to say sorry through his wise guy personality, while Walt rolls his eyes as he spins his wheels as he listens to the usual daily Xiao-lan and Timmy banter. Timmy was wearing a light blue shirt and light pale brown jeans, and Walt was wearing a light yellow shirt and glasses with worn blue jeans, which both wear all the time. Timmy also had 8 colored beaded bracelets from colors of green, pink, black, light blue, and sky blue to white, which were on his right arm, and 3 bracelets on his other arms, 2 being wooden oak brown, and 1 being a royal red. The bracelets were made from a girl arts and crafts club from Timmy Elementary School, where the girls made bracelets with the names of the 8 immortals on one arm and the 3 Taoist luck gods on the other, craved into them in Old Mandarin. "I got the history of the Dutch and Japanese periods of Taiwan essay assignment done. You guys worked on it?" "Oh, who am I kidding?" "Well, definitely did it, but you probably just took his homework." "Wow, you really think that little of me?" Timmy tilts his head back and does an sound with his mouth in a dramatic way. Then he started talking in a sort of crappy version of Shakespeare's type of lyrical speaking. "Do I mean nothing to thee? Did you then?" Xiao-lan questions with one of his eyes slightly closed and the other wide open, leaning in with his arms crossed. "No," sad face. He sighs from Timmy's predictability and reshifts his backpack forward on his shoulders. "Thought so, we don't got time. History class is about to start." "Come on. What's your rush, man? It's only history. Like we already heard about it 3 different times. And we are likely to hear it 10 more times throughout our thrilling academic lives until 18. Walt stating matter of fact, pointing his finger up. "That freaking sucks," says the most bullied person in school. Walt, mumbling with his head turned away to try to dispel what he said anywhere but toward Xiao-lan. The trio heads to their first class, Taiwanese and Chinese history / Mandarin history. They go to class, a white room filled with some posters, mix of Mandarin writing and English, since it was class with English and Mandarin lessons. The teacher, Mrs. Lily Shen, with her square glasses and stout square-like body, with button shirt in pale blue and white line pattern dress shirt. She looks across the room and then writes on the clipboard, Xiao-lan quickly zooming to his seat and sitting at his desk with an awkward panic smile, while Timmy fast walks to his desk scratching his back. Timmy takes a seat and then looks at the teacher to see if she even notices him coming in, which assumes likely not. Xiao-lan looks around nervously before Timmy hits his shoulder and mouths off words with no sound, but you know. What he said was, "Why you so panicked?" And then Xiao-lan moves his lips with no sound, making hand gestures to make his point. There was a test. I don't know how I did. Somehow the chubby over-socialized kid understands and tilted his back and shook his head with his eyes closed, waving like he was slapping a rotten smell away from him. You'll be fine, you worry too much. Are you two done reenacting a bad play, or are you going to keep asterisk messing? Around asterisk, the teacher announced loudly, looking to Xiao-lan and Tim, hitting the wooden ruler on her other hand hard, a disciplinary look given. Both of them immediately shift back into their seats, putting their arms on the desk and facing their bodies forward. All right then, I think everyone is here. Alrighty then, the teacher said in some kind of humorous tone, but the students' expressions didn't change, which irritated her a bit. As you may have known, there was a test on Friday, and the good news is most of you passed. Even the more lazier kids. The teacher looked directly at Timmy when she said that, Walt almost bursting out with laughter. But since Walt has an adult's level of self-control, he keeps quiet. The teacher looked to Xiao-lan, though her stare is more threatening, staring daggers at Xiao-lan, before sighing and rolling her eyes as she continues her lesson, writing about the current topic of the unit on the whiteboard with blue marker and red marker. You'll get your test with your grades at the end of class. Right now we'll go to our next unit, the history of Taiwan, of going from the main socialistic democratic to a more old-fashioned and royal system ran by the dominate venerable communal Psycho Party, also called the Psycho Party or the Loyal Party. The class became bored as she went on, the history being boring, until they went to the part with the war. Not surprisingly, the school practically ran on the funds from the executive Psycho Party that now filled every branch of the national government. Most schools in the southern part of the green mountainous island were on the ropes of closing down, afraid about losing funds. Our leader, the avatar of Yu Huang Shangdi, the Jade Emperor, the masked emperor of the Psycho Party, Minister of Taiwan, Nuruhi Chao. He took our office and took away the political ideologues and brought back many of the old customs of ancient Chinese culture, redefining what we stood for, redefining what we strive for, redefining why we fight, redefining why we die, why we work to ensure the success and great prosperity of him and the great nation we stand upon, lifting our shoulders through prayer and wisdom to him, who shall give us what we ask in return. He made the corrupt, old, outdated capitalistic and socialistic main governance run with their tails behind their backs, making the Taipei War 70 years ago short and efficient, to make it so little casualties happened. So he and our most greatest of representatives are benevolent and filled with giving, and have lead us to greatness and freedom from both the flaws of the past and of the vile futurists. The ones who stand against divine authority shall face properly swift and professional justice. The teacher paced back and forth through the front of the room, walking side to side. Then, as she continued, she pulled a few strains of her black hair back, a pretend professional appearance, as she started walking around the whole room and looking at the kids with a stern and cold expression. The kids, in her eyes, looked gray and clayish. Today we stand as the only hybrid nation that values our past and of the future. That's why we strive for the greatest, and we will outcompete with everyone. And keep our past at heart, pure and traditional in spirit, unlike the Westerns, which shall be led by our glorious prophet, who, no matter what you see on the news, no matter the yelling of mad young teens seeking unearned control without knowing how to lead, and old fools stuck in their backward ways. They are false. You know the people here will help you succeed. The people that shall get you good jobs. Make sure you are headed the right direction. Not those drunkards and drug addicts on the streets trying to lead you astray. The class soon ended, the time before being 9:30, and the time now is 11 o'clock. The trio left and went to their writing class, where, like every school on the Green Island, they learned how to write with black ink and pencil in old and new Chinese Mandarin, which they probably will forget afterwards, since most adults only need to speak in Mandarin, do not write in it, instead preferring English. After that they had a short lunch period where Xiao-lan ate some tofu and cabbage soup with noodles, Walt ate the same, needing a light diet, and Timmy eating something from home, whipped cream with peanut M&Ms over a thick flowing chocolate brownie with her Italian cheese hot pocket, which both Xiao-lan and Walt had no idea where he got that from. After 12:30, they go to their lockers to get their stuff for their math class, entering the white, lifeless halls of the more indoor part of the school, the weird, dirty, or chemical smell all around every middle school in the world. A meaningless effort just to get a diploma in your hand you can go to college and have more teachers talk your ear off. Xiao-lan wished he was older to go to those fancy, clean, and carpeted universities and meet intellectuals who wouldn't look at him and leer, look at him and judge, but understand him and he understands them. That thought quickly fades as the clearest black stain of the school pops out of the blue, slamming his hand next to Xiao-lan's long ears revealing themselves from his black hoodie from the shock of a loud slamming sound, turning in surprise to see a familiar face. It was the tall boy, seeming someone who should be in high school, wearing a black zipper jacket with an azure dragon and yaogui across it and on his back a white tiger and red phoenix surrounding each other, also wearing torn black jeans and biker gloves, with jet black and red Japanese motorcycle gang boots with spinning metal spike spurs and flat iron knuckles to beat up any uncooperatives. Xiao-lan knew exactly who this was. Zhu and his friends behind him, a skinny one with a mohawk, a goofy fat dude and short guy. This was the Zhu Dogs, a motorcycle gang who just happened to go to Zhao's school and also pick on him and Timmy. Specifically, "Yo, this is the third time you didn't give my friend the Hawk and Tweedledee and Tweedledum our lunch money. And the fifth time you forgot to give a copy of your math homework to us." Zhu getting in Xiao-lan's face, who looks down and keeps his eye contact away from Zhu. "I don't have a copy, Zhu. I don't have any lunch money either. Me and my friend are going on fasting." The Hawk looks at short stack, nearly emo rad boy and moves forward a bit, almost pouncing before keeping his feet on the ground, his legs and shoulders constantly moving. "Fasting? You little lying brats. Stop, back up. Asterisk violent cough asterisk." Timmy looking to his brother in great worry, but Zhu ignores the wheelchair kid and tries to calm down his right-hand goon. "Hey Hawk, chill dude, chill, you got it. I got the perfect way for you guys to repay us. You can be our punch dummies tonight, so we can practice our kung fu on you guys." Xiao-lan looks to his struggling friend and to that friend's older brother trying to help him, searching his pockets and then his backpack for a medicine bottle and looking back to the cause of all of this. Xiao-lan, wanting to be as strong as his father, adopts his frame and stands against Zhu. He spits at his face his declaration of war. "Get lost, Zhu." Zhu's snarky, ghostly white grin and weasel-like charm immediately disappears as he goes into a blind rage, throwing the boy not even to his knee in a locker, grabbing Xiao-lan's jacket collar. "I don't think you heard me correctly, mutated rodent kid. That's the least we can do to you guys. I can kick your ass right now in front of everyone, or you can just get a nosebleed as a training dummy at my teacher's dojo. Your choice, genetic mistake dipshit." Zhu lets him go and backs away, forming a cruel smile then. Walking to class, intentionally bumping his arm against Xiao-lan as he goes, his goons and the Hawk laugh. The Hawk seeing an opportunity, he gives Timmy a nasty wedgie before leaving himself. Timmy wants to scream at them, but his fear overtakes him, and he just mumbles angrily to himself. "Why do you let those guys bully you too like that?" Walt protests, Xiao-lan responding angrily while shoving his long ears back into his hoodie. "What do you want me to do? You want us to get into more trouble with that biker gang? Bun man, can you please be mindful of Walt's health?" Timmy states, while pushing Walt along behind Xiao-lan. "Oh sorry, wait, oh you arg." Xiao-lan holding back his tongue, grinding his teeth as he wanted to curse in that moment, but knowing that's bad manners, lets that feeling pass. "They're going to beat you up. Anyway, why not let everyone see it, so they can get reported?" Walt rubbing his itchy upper arm. "It's not going to fix anything. They already know where I live. Zhu would turn me into his lifetime punching bag if I ever got him and his gang expelled. But he doesn't know where you live, Timmy. You are lucky compared to me when it comes to that. Everyone knows where you live, Xiao-lan," Timmy states plainly. Xiao-lan sighs and continues. "Yeah, those freaking losers." Walt looking at the clock above a class doorway, then yells to the others, "Let's not worry about it, guys. We still need to get to algebra class. It's 12:42. Xiao-lan felt and looked confused and pulls out his phone to see the time. The time was worse than they thought. "Oh damn, I forgot about that. We got no time, let's go." The group rushes clumsily to the most hated of math classes, with Walt rolls his wheels faster and faster to get their calculators and algebra textbooks, bumping into each other in the lockers and almost tripping over each other as they sprint towards, and running in the halls. The boys turn to hear a loudspeaker behind them, the sound coming from a beer belly hall monitor with that damn loudspeaker in his hand, coming out of the interconnecting hall. The trio of friends bow their heads quietly to apologize and go from running to walking fast enough where they can get to class and slow enough so the hall monitor won't yell into his loudspeaker and to avoid embarrassing themselves further. Once math class and their science and English class were done, the three left the school and hang out to talk on the steps of the white stone entrance of the school, talking near a little green area with trees, with a metal, colorful red flamingo prop. Timmy picked his nose as he started the conversation, Walt trying to look away from Tim's face when he did that. "So you coming to the beach with us, Xiao-lan? You guys live at the beach, it's kind of hard to avoid." Xiao-lan's smarm, which usually only comes out when he's alone with his friends, starts coming out, his truer self. "Maybe I should come, to see that beautiful beach, to see your mom see her beautiful face and—" "Stop it, man. That's disgusting." Xiao-lan throwing his arms in the air in response, gesturing like he's about to be put on police cuffs. I'm kidding, man. I'm just throwing the shade you throw at me." "Whatever." Tim waves his hand, dismisses away toward Xiao. Walt chimes in. "Well, we got that new Forest Night game. The one with the giant cool sword and the demonic dragon. You want to come fight that boss? I just got level 10 last night." Timmy interjecting in, gesturing wildly like he was trying to imitate presentation speaker. "Ugh, yeah, sure. I'll come. Yes." Timmy, throwing his fist up and jumping in the air like he was in a platformer, which startled the other two a bit. "But only for a few hours, then I got to do homework." Walt comes in and says, "Well, you can stay and do homework at our place, after or maybe before the game." "Yeah, but I'll have to call my dad." "That does sound fun, you thinking about like a sleepover." "Maybe." Walt says unsure, looking to Timmy to finish, and of course, Timmy says, "Oh man, I gotta show you that new song that came out by Girls' Generation. Mr. Taxi. Oh look. I'll call my dad and tell him, hold on." Xiao-lan picks up his smartphone and tells Adam about him having a sleepover with Timmy and Walt, and Adam is fine with it. "My dad says he's fine with me going." "Woohoo! Slumber party!"